Kajol, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Kajol, your new film, We Are Family, is your second film this year after My Name is Khan. In that film, you played a mother who loses her son. In We Are Family, your children lose their mother. What, according to you, is the greater pain?
I think the greater pain would be to lose your child, because I think that is something that is, it's unimaginable. I don't think any parent can ever go through anything worse or wish anything like that on anybody, even on their worst enemies, as they put it. So I think, and as children, somewhere down the line, yes, it's sad when you lose a parent, but because you are children, because you are resilient, because you have a whole life ahead of you, and of course you have one parent at least, it's somehow you bounce back.
Right.
You know, you will bounce back. You have that tendency to bounce back. But when a parent loses a child, it's I think it's something it's just too horrible to imagine.
खाने का वक्त हो गया है. डॉक्टर्स कहते हैं पोस्ट ट्रॉमेटिक स्ट्रेस डिसऑर्डर में लोग अपना ख्याल रखना भूल जाते हैं. तुम्हें अपना ख्याल रखना है.
Just shut up! Just shut up! तुम सुन रहे हो मैं क्या कह रही हूँ? हमने उसे मार डाला. We have killed him.
Kajol, how do you prepare for a role? What kind of preparation goes in?
Should I sound intellectual, or should I,
No,
should I tell you the truth?
No, just give it to us straight.
Well, actually, there's not a lot of preparation that goes into it. It's mostly in your head.
Okay.
Really, the preparation is in your head. Like when you read a script, you have a script in front of you, and you read the script, and you know scene to scene to scene to scene how you're going to graph it, how you're going to graph the character, how it's going to play itself out, and you have an idea in your head. You have a vague idea in your head, which you try to crystallize when you're acting, when you're actually acting, but at the same time sometimes you surprise yourself. So I don't know, it's just something that kind of comes about, and hopefully if you have a good director on hand, which fortunately for me I do most of the time, I think you manage to take out quite a lot.
Okay, you know, when you're playing a mum on screen and you watch the film, does it look convincing? Does it look real, or does it look like make-believe? Does it feel like you're acting?
No, I'm completely convinced. I'm completely convinced. When I think I've always been like that. I'm a mother hen figure basically. I mean, if you ask any of my friends, I'm like mothering them quite a bit.
Okay.
So I am that kind of a person also, and in real life, and in real life, therefore, it is very, very easy for me to kind of don that character.
What I mean is, acting on screen, is it more exaggerated?
Well, I don't think it should be.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be, and I've tried not to make it so.
Okay.
In most of my things, most of my films, I don't think that I've tried to exaggerate motherhood per se.
Okay.
Into, you know, something more than it is.
Sure.
As such.
Okay. Is your daughter old enough to see a film like We Are Family and not be disturbed by it, to know that it's just a movie, mom's just doing a job?
You know, I don't think any child can watch a film like that. I mean, I was, I think, 12 years old when my mother's film released, Hathi Mere Saathi or something like that. And at that point in time, I didn't speak to her for 3 days.
Okay.
I mean, I was old enough to understand that this was just a movie and stuff like that, but I could not understand why she did that to the elephant. I was like, you know, you're a villain, you're a horrible person to do that. How could you do that? That's like, you know, terrorizing an animal. You blamed the elephant. I was in like, me and my sister have both not spoken to her for 3 days after that, and she kept trying to convince us that it's just a movie, calm down.
Okay.
So I don't think you're ever old enough really to, you know, forgive a movie basically.
Okay, okay. You know, two heroine films are usually a breeding ground for trouble. Kareena and you apparently got along famously while making this movie.
We did.
Were you surprised?
Yes. I was, because I actually, you know, I didn't go in there expecting a negative response.
Sure.
Or I didn't go in there expecting a fight. But I went in there a little unsure, thinking that, you know, what is it going to be exactly? Because I have not done like a heroine film per se. But I mean, you know, things were so cool and so comfortable, and fortunately, I think we both kind of share a sense of humor.
Okay.
And we were both cracked up at quite a few things that were, you know, we found funny.
Okay.
And I think that's what broke the ice really. And she's, I mean, absolutely lovely to work with, of course.
Now, the two of you had worked together, in fact, on Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum.
Right.
Is this a relationship that carried forward?
Not at all. We didn't have a relationship at that point of time.
Okay.
We didn't work together. I think we had precisely 2 scenes together in K3G, and so we didn't have much time to, to work together.
Sure.
And I think this film is more. This film had a lot more for us to do together. There was a lot more. There's a lot more interaction.
Right.
There's a lot more. How do I put this? We have to respond. We
Right.
have to respond to each other. We don't have a choice in the matter. You can't. She can't be, like shooting for another film and me shooting for another film. So I think that makes it like you have to connect to the person in front of you.
In the early days when you were working, you did do a couple of 2-heroine films. In fact, a film like Gupt, for example.
Yeah.
Is it very different now from what it is then? Have actors changed?
I think it's, I think it's got to do with personalities. It really has to do with personalities. Manisha and myself got along very well in Gupt as well. But we didn't have that much. I think directors were so frightened of putting two girls together in one scene that they decided it's better. Dates cancel हो जाएंगे, shooting cancel हो जाएगी, picture बंद हो जाएगी, मत डालो same scene में. हाँ, picture में रखो totality में, लेकिन ना एक scene में मत रखो दोनों को साथ.
Could it have anything to do with the fact that you have this reputation of being sort of brash and abrasive and sort of difficult?
Honest?
Yeah.
Like you?
You've heard this, of course, right?
I don't know. Brash and abrasive maybe from people who can't take honesty too well.
Sure.
Oh my God. Well, I prefer to believe that I'm honest. I prefer to believe that I say what I have on my mind. Diplomatically, in my version of it. I'm sure undiplomatically in the other person's version of it. But I would rather let people know where they stand with me. Rather than, have them expect me to stab them in the back.
Sure.
Which I wouldn't do. I would rather, if I have something to say to you, I'd rather catch you, hold you and tell you face to face that, listen, you're a dipshit and I don't like you at all.
Right.
Rather than, go back behind your back and, tell about 100 other people and then smile at you and say that, you're such a lovely person and I love you so much.
Sure.
So,
sure.
I don't think that's being brash and abrasive, but...
Okay. Kajol, let me tell you my first memory of you. This was years ago while you were shooting in Film City with Saif Ali Khan for a film called Hamesha.
Right.
And my first memory, my first sort of visual of you was refusing to take pictures with fans.
Right.
And I remember thinking it, at the start, that's not very nice. And then I learned that apparently you don't take pictures with fans because you don't know who these people are and you don't know how a picture might be used. And then it made perfect sense.
Right.
You still don't take pictures?
No, I don't. I'm a little more comfortable with it right now. I'm a little more, I'm less worried with the idea now because I think it's, when you're introduced and things like that and
Right.
where this person is coming from or whatever. It's a little more, I'm a little more comfortable with the idea. So I'm a little more open to the idea, but generally I just prefer not to. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Sure.
Everybody has their own idiosyncrasies and eccentricities and ideas about and opinions about something, and I think everybody should respect it.
Sure. Kajol, what was the first film of yours that you showed your daughter, that you allowed her to see?
I would have liked her to see a lot more, but she hasn't seen anything of mine. She refuses to switch on. She switches the TV off if I come on.